Welcome back to Universe. I'm Andrew, and today I'm playing Worldbreakers Advent of the Khanate, the solo campaign. And this is chapter 6 of the campaign out of 10 chapters, which means this is also the beginning of part 2. Marco Polo is now retired, and we will now be playing as Kudalun. So if you missed the first 5 chapters, the first part of the campaign, link will be in the description. But you're welcome to join me either way. So I've got Kudalun here. This big giant one can go off to the side. Let's kick it off by reading the chapter 6 card. So again, first 5 chapters, we were Marco Polo. The story was Marco Polo's story. We're now switching over to Kudalun as the main character here. You are Kudalun, the true daughter, a powerful world breaker, and the ruler of the Chagatai Khanate. Soon you will be the great Khan of the reunited Mongol hordes. You have gathered 10,000 warriors at the banks of the Amu River, preparing to ride into the nearby Ilkhanate and unite its tribes under your mythium-fueled empathic bond. Before you can set out in force, you must know what lies before you. Win this chapter to send scouts across the river and deal with any bandits or other minor dangers they may find. Objective is 6 power. Flip this card if you win. I'm going to continue playing on the difficulty level that I kind of selected, which is that I'm going to be starting with 1 power. So 6 doesn't sound that bad, but I'm still going to start with 1. Our opponent will need 10. I'm going to be the first player for the first round. Got 5 Mythium and 5 cards, which I haven't looked at yet, so I might need to mulligan. I'm starting with an Earth Standing, and they have a Void. I'm actually not totally sure they're supposed to have a Void, but we'll see if it comes up at all, if they need any standing. They have a whole new deck. So if you saw the first half of the campaign, you know that we were playing against Kudalun, and she had an AI deck, but now our opponent does, and they seem to be primarily the Void faction. So this card looks familiar. Just a recruit. Put the top card of your opponent's deck into play on turns 1 and 3, or turns 1 or 3, and then flip this card. So if you haven't seen that, you'll see how that works in a second. But if you did see it, yeah, this is a different deck. I did look through it. I didn't memorize it all, but there's a lot of recruiting. There is attacking, but when they attack with a single unit at a time, just a single follower, and they block because I am now able to attack, which I couldn't do in the first half of the campaign. In fact, we have a special new rules card, the Order's Tactics, that talks all about how they will block when I do attack. Each time they attack with 1 follower, and it's the one they have with their highest strength. Each time they could block, which applies if I attack with like 3 followers, for example, they could block with 1. That would be resolved according to these steps. Then if I still have 2 attacking followers, they can follow this procedure again, which doesn't always result in blocking, but we'll go through that when it happens. The other cards in this deck have them attacking with 1 follower, and some of them have sabotage abilities that when they hit me, they get a bonus. So I have to be careful about letting followers through like that, even if it's just one of them. And they do have locations. They can bring out locations, and some of these actions will even have them developing their locations. They also have this new rule card. I think this will be the last thing before we start. They can collect Mythium, and if they would draw a card or gain standing from a card from their deck, they get a Mythium instead. And if I play an order card, and there's at least 3 Mythium here, remove all the Mythium from here, and they deal 1 wound to one of my followers, the one with the least health left. So they can collect resources, and they'll spend them to punish me for playing orders. Sorry, for some reason I was thinking orders were like the action cards, but it's not action cards I play. It's saying after I resolve an order card, these are the orders here. So every time they play an order, they will shoot one of my people if they have the Mythium to spend on it. So let me take a look at my starting hand, and I am now playing the aggressor. I kind of liked playing the control role and developing in locations and whatnot, but I'm now going to be attacking. So I liked the lowly bard, 2-cost 1/1 to go find blocker, and she can get me some Mythium once I built up some standing. She's not particularly aggressive, and neither is the humble underpass, which is a way to gain Mythium and power. But I don't know. I haven't tried this yet, but this different strategy. But I'm going to mulligan away those 2 and draw 2 new ones, and then shuffle these back into start. And also, since I am Kudalun, I now have this ability. When I attack, I can give one of those followers 1 strength, which I'll indicate with this token here. And I don't have to follow the rules the AI was using to designate. I can just choose which of my followers to get it if I attack with more than 1. Since I've got 5, which is a nice starting amount, let's kick it off with a call to arms. So I'm going to reveal cards from the top of my deck until I reveal 2 followers. draw them both, shuffle, and I can play one of them. So not a follower, there's a follower, and there's a follower. Those both go to my hand, but I will play one of them, which is going to be the Skillful Bruiser, and Earth Apprentice will go to my hand. He costs 2 Mythium, so I'll spend that. And he's a 3/1 with Overwhelm, so if he's blocked and he kills the blocker, I will still get a power, which is nice. That is my action. I can only do one thing. I chose play a card. I played a card. Playing a card let me play another card, but that means I'm done. And now we will resolve the order card of our opponent, which again is a recruit. Put the top card of their deck into play, and they get a Lowly Bard. So that's the card I mulliganed away. It costs them 2, but they don't use Mythium on paying costs. They only use it for this Pernicious Powder. So they do gain a Mythium, and they gain 1 for each standing. So now I really do need to know if they have this void. All right, I don't believe she does start with any, or I say she, I don't think my opponent starts with any because they don't have any Worldbreaker to indicate a guild standing. And in part 1 of the campaign, there's actually one of the new rules cards that said the opponent starts to begin each game with an Earth standing. So in this case, there's nothing telling me to give them a void, so I'm not going to. She's going to give them no Mythium because they have no standing. It'll just be a 1/1 that resolves this card, but then it says to flip it so that we can see that on turn 2 or 4, which will be their second turn next, they will infiltrate. If they have a non-signature location, they don't, but they would develop one. Otherwise, they will attack with 1 follower. So they will be attacking with the Bard. Fortunately, I can easily block that. Actually, no, not that easily, because I have a 1 health follower that I don't want to die. So I should probably play a follower that has more than 1 health. I do have one. That would be this Arag Maker. When it enters, I can gain 1 standing. So I'll gain a second Earth standing. Costs 2, and it is a 2/2. Do I want to block it? However, so now they are going to go ahead and infiltrate, which means the Bard is attacking. I can block here, but that would be awful. I could block here and kill the Bard, and this would have 1 wound. But then I cannot attack with this. And since I only need 6 and they need 10, I'm wondering if I actually let them gain 1 power. Because nothing bad happens to me. It's just that my opponent will gain 1 power. So I can let them get through. They get a power, or should I just take this trade while it's available? But if I let them hit me and then I attack for 2, I get 2 power, I go up to 3, and I'm halfway to winning. I think I can win later. Let's take the good trades when they're offered. So that was my opponent's turn. My third action, I'll spend my last Mythium to play the Lion Tamer, which is a backer inspired alternate art card from the first Worldbreakers campaign. Normally this would be Dog Tamer, but it is Lion Tamer. Costs 1. It has the migrate ability, so I can either gain 3 Mythium and spend 1 standing, or gain 1 Earth standing. I don't need a third Earth standing. In fact, I don't even need the second, I assume. So I'm going to pay the 1 to get 3 Mythium so that I have another person out. This should have been discarded to reveal this so that on their third action they will recruit again. They just put somebody else into play. A Weary Veteran. If they have at least 3 standing, they don't. So it's just a 1/2. And then this is, I flipped it already to reveal Stupefy. So this will be their 4th action. After my 4th action, if they have a follower, it will attack with the ability that if it hits me, I have to discard 2 cards. So I definitely want to block that one. Otherwise, if they didn't have a follower, they would develop a location, but they don't have one. So anyway, I would like to block that as well. Fortunately, I just made 3 Mythium, and I drew this Earth Apprentice earlier, so I'm going to pay 3. When it enters, I gain an Earth standing, and because I have at least 2 other followers, I also get to draw a card, which is super nice. And now, when they attack, I can block with this. I didn't get to attack with my followers, but I'm building up. So the Weary Veteran's 1 attack will deal 1 to my Earth Apprentice, putting 1 wound on it, and it'll deal 2 back to the 2 health of the veteran and kill that. And even though I didn't attack as the aggro player, I feel like that went okay. Each of us has done 4 actions, so the round ends. We resolve the rally phase, which says we resolve rally abilities. There are none in play. We ready cards. Everybody gets 2 Mythium. Oh, I wonder if our opponent's Pernicious Powder actually means they do get that Mythium. They actually get the end of round effects now. Well, they don't get the next one, which is to draw a card. Check for victory. They don't have 10. I don't have 6. So then we flip the player order, and that's how we end up with them going on first on round 2. This should have been discarded to reveal a set the trap. Set the trap says if your opponent controls a location, they gain 2 mythium. Otherwise, they gain 1 mythium. Either way, they put someone into play. So now they get their 3rd mythium. They get to recruit. They got a Cunning Reclaimer. If they're attacking alone, choose a follower it can't block. And I assume that used the normal AI rules for our opponent choosing. And this is a big beefy 3/3 as well. This is a scary one. Then after they've resolved that order card, this gets flipped to become a raid. Their next action is going to be, if they control a ready follower, they attack with it and it gains, if it hits me, they gain 5 mythium. 5 is not a super relevant number here because they trigger their ability at 3, and when they do so, they lose all of their mythium. So the 5 may as well say 3. For now, I assume that's going to change with more, or as the campaign goes on. But for now, 5 is the same as 3. And if they didn't have a follower, they would develop a location, which they don't have. But that'll be their next action. But yeah, after they resolve an order card, if they have at least 3, which they do, remove it all, and they deal 1 wound to one of my followers with the least remaining health. 1, 1, 1, 1. And then I guess they would choose, there's a 4-way tie. So again, choosing based on the AI system would be the one with the highest standing requirement, which is a 3-way tie. Highest mythium cost is a 2-way tie, and I can decide the tiebreaker. Okay, so I will choose the Arag Maker to die because the overwhelm here is going to be nice. So Arag Maker bites the dust, unfortunately, from the Pernicious Powder. Now it is my first action of round 2. Let's take a look at their blocking algorithm here. If they have more than one ready follower, they block with the one with the highest health. That wouldn't apply because they only have 1 blocker available. If they have only 1 ready follower and they have a location, they block with their 1 follower. Well, they don't have a location, so that doesn't apply. If they have only 1 ready follower and their next turn is 1 or 3, they block with their follower. But their next turn is actually 2. So in this case, they would not block because they want to be able to attack with their raid ability. I'm thinking I might be okay with that. Well, maybe not, because I'd lose my bruiser. Because if I attack, I get 3 power. I go up to 4, which is pretty good. But then they will attack. They will gain a power. The ability wouldn't be relevant, which is nice because this makes something not able to block. And they will choose my thing with the highest standing, then the highest cost. Highest standing, then the highest cost, which would mean they would choose this to not be able to block. And then if I didn't block, which I probably wouldn't because these 2 can't kill it, they would gain 5 mythium, which means they would spend it all to deal 1, and again they would choose this and kill it. So it wouldn't be able to block and then it would die. So either I need to play a new follower to change that algorithm, or I need to just attack while I can, because I know they won't block. All right, so here we go. I'm going to do my attack action. First legal attack action of the campaign. I'm going to choose 3 followers with which to attack, and then they will check their order defenses algorithm, this new rules card that tells them how to block. We already went through steps 1 through 3. Step 4 says if your opponent does not control a location and its next turn is 2 or 4, they will not block with their last ready follower. And boom, I get in with 3 hits, which means I gain 3 power, putting me up to 4. If they had a location, I would damage it, but if they had a location, they would have blocked. So that's it. That's my action. It goes to their action. They will raid, do that attack. They gain, I'm not blocking, so they gain the 1 power. They get this attack ability, but it just makes it something can't block. They get their breach ability from the raid. They get 5 mythium, but it doesn't matter how much mythium because it has at least 3. So they spend it and hit somebody, which is the bruiser, who dies, and he never even got to overwhelm. Sorry, she never got to overwhelm. Victims of the Mongols already fear them as mounted terrors. Kudalun's empathic link allows them to ride as one, further growing their military might. See, I guess mythium enhances people to their maximum potential. So in Kudalun's case, it gives her this empathic warrior bond with her armies. All right, so this is discarded, revealing a regular recruit. My second action with 2 mythium. I'm going to play a gallant soldier. I think I'm just racing here. I'm going to spend 1 on it. It's just a 2/1. Bring that out. They will recruit. I'm so used to have my opponent being a she. They get a 1/3. They get a standing. But instead, they get a mythium. And then my third action, flip this regular recruit to reveal a regular infiltrate. This is kind of their default turn 2 and 4 order. If they have a non-signature location, they develop it. Otherwise, They attack with a follower, and they love attacking with one follower, so I can attack, and again, same system here, they will not block. They don't have more than one ready follower, they don't have a location, and their next order is 4. So they take it, I get another power, putting me up to 5. Also, I'm kind of skipping this, but when I attack, I give somebody +1, but it hasn't mattered. Then 4, they will infiltrate, they will attack, I'll let them get their second power, no breach abilities this time, and I actually have a 4th action. For some reason I was thinking that was going to be the end of my round, but I guess I can do one more thing with one more Mythium. I will play a Gur Migration for 1. I will choose the second mode to spend 1 standing to gain 5 Mythium, and that is the end of the round. Ready, or resolve rally abilities, ready cards, gain Mythium, they gain a second one. I gain 2 more. Oh no, they gain 2 more. Everybody gets 2. For some reason I was converting it into whenever they gain any amount of Mythium, they get 1. But it's whenever they get would draw a card or gain standing, they get a Mythium. Normal Mythium gains are however much they should get, as far as I can tell. But they don't get to draw, oh, they do get to draw a card. That's also a Mythium gain. But doesn't matter, that just puts them at 4, which is the same as 3. Check for victory, nope. And flip this to me going first. And since I'm at 5, I could attack with all 3. They can only block 2. This should have been discarded to reveal a regular recruit. So I would gain 1 power and go to 6, and then I will win at the end of the round, unless somehow they get to 10. If I wait, they have 2 followers, and both of them are potential blockers because their next order is not 2 or 4. If I wait, they will recruit once, and they'll have 3 followers, and I could attack on my second action, but if I do, they will still only block with 2, because when it gets down to their last follower wanting to block, they will see that their next order is 4, and they need to save, or 2 or 4, and they need to save 1 attacker. So either way, I'm going to have 2 blockers. I can take the situation as it is now, or what it would be based on who comes out next. But it's likely that it's the same thing because they block with their higher health blockers first, and they currently have 2 3 health blockers. Chances that their next follower would have 3 or more health. In order to change that seems unlikely. They start by blocking with their highest health follower against my highest attack follower, which I'm able to manipulate by using this. You know what? There's a tiebreaker here for my decision. So let's just, instead of running down the whole analysis, I'm going to play Earth Apprentice, because if I have at least 2 other followers, I draw a card, and I want to draw the card. If I attack with everything and 2 of my guys die, then I wouldn't get to draw that card. So do it that way. I gain another Earth, so I'm gaining standing and spending it. Draw a card. Ooh, although they are going to resolve an order, I forgot about the 1 wound. They get to shoot somebody with the lowest health, and I have 2 1s, 3 1s, so they will actually kill my Lion Tamer. I think that's okay. All right, so they're going to recruit. They get a Novice Cut Purse. After it's blocked, they gain 2 Mythium and a standing. Ooh, that's 3 Mythium if I block it. And then they will fire their Pernicious Powder, 1 damage to my follower with the lowest health remaining, which is a 3-way tie. Highest standing requirement is a 2-way tie. Highest cost is still a tie, and then I will choose the one with only 1 power, or 1 attack. Well, that was my first action and their first action, so it'll go to my second action. Their second action will be a regular infiltrate. And I think now I'm attacking, or do I play another follower and then let them attack? Yeah. The only danger is if I somehow don't end up getting that last power, because I could get it now. They would let me get it. I'm going to play this. I don't know, but I'm going to gain another standing. And it's just a 1-3, but it is something. Then they will infiltrate. Their new rule card here says, each time your opponent attacks, it declares 1 attacking follower. Choose one of its ready followers with the highest strength, which is the Cunning Reclaimer. So this one is attacking. When it attacks, they choose one of my followers to not be able to block, which will be the one with the highest standing. But I don't think I'm going to block anyway, so they're just going to get their 3rd power. They don't have a breach ability this time, and then this is discarded. Their next action will be to set the trap. If your opponent controls a location, they gain 2 Mythium, otherwise they gain 1. Either way, put the top card of their deck into play. I think now is my time to attack. If they have more than 1 ready follower, they block with the one with the most remaining health. So this one will block first. And the one it's going, my attacker that it will block is going to be the one, it decides to block. If it decides to block, it blocks an eligible attacker with the lowest strength, which would be the 1. So the swift messengers are actually going to be fighting each other. Although, again, I can assign this where I want it to go. But I think the only upside would be if I were somehow able to kill this swift messenger, which isn't possible because if I made this a 2, then they would assign this to the attacking follower with the highest, or with the lowest strength, which would be a 4-way tie, and they would end up choosing the one with the highest standing, and that would actually kill my soldier, although it would kill the messenger too. So sure, I don't know if that's good, but that's what I'm going to do, which means when this one goes to block, it's going to be the one with the high or the lowest strength, and this will take 1 wound, and all 3 of these will die. 2 got through these 2 here, so I get 2 more power, putting me up to 7. That was my attack, so my opponent will set the trap. They don't have a location, so they just get 1 Mythium. Then they recruit a Void Apprentice. Instead of the Void standing, they gain 1 Mythium. And a follower was defeated this round, so they draw a card, but instead they gain a Mythium, which means now they've got 3. And they will use their powder at the end of this order to deal 1 damage to my follower with the lowest remaining health. I've got 2, 2, and 1, so this Earth Apprentice is dead. This is flipped to become a regular infiltrate, my 4th action. With 1 Mythium, I guess I'll just play this Kalari Adept. 1/1 when it attacks, I gain a Mythium, and then they will do their infiltrate attacking. I could block, but I'll just let them gain power because then we go into the rally phase and step 4 is to check for victory, and I've got my 6 or more. So objective 6 power, flip this card if you win the game. Flip it, prepare the draft deck, draft 3 cards out of 6 choices and add them to your deck. Gather the following cards and add it to your opponent's starting play deck, Forlorn Flats. And then we're going to modify their order deck. We're going to replace a Recruit Infiltrate. So Recruit Infiltrate is out, and we're going to add this Recruit Skirmish, which will increase their Void. If your opponent controls a non-signature location, they develop it, otherwise they attack. So that is out, this is in. Throw this to the bottom of the deck. And we can read new rules 2. Storage 4, your opponent now starts each game with 1 Void standing. Set up, gather the following cards and store them here. Alamet Saboteur, Alamet Emissary, Callous Closer, and Raider's Hideaway. So this is similar to what we saw in the first part of the campaign. Force Interrupt, when your opponent has 2 Void standing, shuffle all cards stored here into their play deck, and then same on the other side. And then we would have Chapter 7 coming up next. So I need to draft 3 cards. I need to get a Forlorn Flats. So Forlorn Flats is a location. We didn't actually see any of those this game. But yeah, this is going to be a 4-cost, 1 Void requirement location. This is going straight into their deck. So all the talk about locations, they finally have one. Actually, I think there's one in there in the starting deck already. It just didn't come out. Oh, nope, maybe not. So now they have one. And these 4 cards are getting put into the storage. So the Alamet Saboteur, for each defending player discards a card. Alamet Emissary, Bloodshed 1. When it attacks alone, it deals a wound to a follower the defending player controls. Wow, that's messed up. Callous Closer. First time each round a follower is defeated, draw a card. And it's a 5/4. And the Raider's Hideaway, 5-cost location that has those 3 abilities to gain Mythium, Power, Attack, and Power. I wonder what the rules are on them attacking with that Hideaway. I want to say they would skip it, but it's still pretty powerful. Oh, it also has the Enters ability. When it enters, they attack. It's kind of a weird card to give them if they're not using that. I wonder if they do attack with just 1 follower. That would be weird because they'd be attacking on an odd round instead of an even, like they normally do. But anyway, maybe we'll get clarity on that before the next episode. This is going to be set aside with the new rules, and I need a draft. So this draft stack here contains Earth cards, which is what our deck mostly consists of currently. It also has neutral cards as well as some Moon cards, which we haven't seen any of yet throughout the campaign, either on our side or the opponent's side. I think previously we were playing Stars, and we could add Void, and we were playing against Earth. Now we're playing with Earth, and we can add Moon, and we're playing against Void. So let's see if we can figure out what Moon is all about, maybe get some Moon action going on. Although, at the same time, I do have to worry about standing. because as you can see, I was gaining Earth standing, but I was also spending it. So I don't want to have too many standing requirements of different types, because that would basically require me to have a minimum of 2 standing all the time, 1 Earth and 1 Moon, just to be able to make sure to play what I draw. And I don't know the Moon's strategy. So right now I'm playing Aggression. Let's see how this fits into that. So let's flip up one at a time here. A Poised Duelist. All right, so I got to keep 2 Earth standing on hand, but 2 costs 2/2. If you control at least 2 other followers, it's a 3/3. So that's pretty nice. There's our Moon. A 4-cost location, the Luminous Lagoon. First ability is to gain another standing and a power. Second ability is to gain a power, and you may defeat a follower with cost 3 or less. I feel like that would have been great in my previous campaign deck. 1 cost Moon event. Only on turn 4 of a round. Ignore this requirement if you have at least 4 Moon standing. Gain 5 Mythium. That is a cool effect. I don't know if I need that. I'm thinking stay low to the ground, play cheap followers. So I don't necessarily mind the restriction of having to play it on turn 4 of a round. Although if you draw it as your card for turn, then you have to wait and you can't afford anything. That would feel bad, but I think it's fine. That's just psychological. So anyway, this requires 3 Earth standing. Whew, but it's so big. But it's also got such a baby health. Just 2 health. How's it going to survive anything? That 6 doesn't matter. 6 is a trick. It's going to trade with something. You want it to trade with, or you want to kill something and trade with something else later. Not convinced about that one. We got a double Moon requirement here. 3-cost follower. The first time each round you draw a card during your turn, draw another card. I mean, I really like that effect. And it's a 3-cost 3/3 is really solid. 3 health is way better than the 2 health. But double Moon is the problem. And then a 3-cost Moon Apprentice. Okay, so this is going to help with get us some of their Moon. Gain a Moon standing. If you have at least 3 standing with any one guild, draw a card. Oh, that's so harsh. That doesn't fit into this deck at all. I keep spending my standing. I don't want to... I mean, I don't know. How much do I spend? I spent 2, but that doesn't mean that's what the deck is all about. Oh, this is the draft deck. I need to look through my actual deck. Gain a standing. Gain an Earth. Gain an Earth. This is a Migrate, so this can spend 1. This one spends 1. Gain a standing. Gain a standing. Migrate. Migrate. If you have 3 standing, migrate. Gain a Mythium for each standing you have. All right, so the thing about Migrate is it is not strictly pay a standing. The only one that is strictly pay a standing is the Gur migration. The Migrates, you get a standing or you can spend 1 for an effect. So I don't have to be spending it. It's just like probably maybe kind of want to if I'm going to play low to the ground Aggression. But I like the Apprentices. I like this Fanciful Astronomer a lot. Double stars. I like the Lagoon as well, and that only has 1 stars requirement. But I feel like a 3/3 fits the strategy better because it's a guy, follower that is. I'm tempted to do this. Keep these. I'm just afraid of the moment when I don't have the 2 stars or even maybe the 2 Earth. But that's what I'm going to do. So these 3 leave the campaign forever. And these 3 go into my Kudaloon deck. Now with a little bit of void. I mean stars. I mean moon. So we'll bring this out. Have that on hand. Draft deck goes back to the side. And chapter 1 is done. Chapter 6 is done. Stay tuned for chapter 7. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And bye.